Hi everyone, good evening. So we're live. If you can see me, please let me know by just leaving a hi in the comments if you can see me. Um, Today is August 20th. It's 7 p.m. EST, and today is our webinar where we're talking about how you can use the rent to own to get your own house. So if you can hear and see, let me know. Okay. So let me know in the comments if you can hear and you can see. Don't forget to also invite your friends to join. We'll just wait a few minutes for others to join. I'm still waiting for you guys. We're still waiting for you to join, waiting for you to indicate that you can hear, waiting for you to also indicate that you can see. Don't forget to invite your friends. So if you're here, there are a few of you here, just put in the comments that you can hear me and you can see, so I would know that you can. Okay, guys, don't also forget to share. So today, like I said before, we're going to be talking about how to turn the rent to own. Yeah. So I have a question for you. So what if there was a way for you to move into your dream home today without needing to save up a huge payment? You know, that huge deposit that you need to have. What if you don't have to do that, but you can still work towards full ownership in the future? That is what we're going to be exploring today. And according to statistics, as of 2024, over 50% of Canadians believe that home ownership is out of their reach. Yeah, especially with the cost of living. A lot of people are not even thinking about buying houses again. Housing prices are growing high, affordability is shrinking. So it's no surprise that many people feel this way. However, today we're diving into an exciting solution that is helping many Canadians to take the crucial first step towards owning their home. Yeah. And we're going to be welcoming a very special guest to do this for us. So we're going to be welcoming Amy from Requity Homes. She's a leading expert in rent to own solutions, and she'll be speaking to us about this innovative approach that could be your ticket to home ownership.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for
Hi,
having
Amy.
me.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. Welcome, and thank you for agreeing to join us today. So guys, we have Amy with us. Like I said before, she's the managing MD of Requity Homes. They're a rent to own company. And recently, Requity got a 26 million funding. So they have a lot of funds to actually buy your homes for you. So you're welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's so great to be here. And if you are listening, please, comment so that we know what you're thinking. And
Yeah.
as as mentioned, that we got $26 million funding secure, which is huge. And we can't wait to help, every single one of you get into homes.
Yes, yes. So guys, if you want to ask a question or leave a comment, you would have to subscribe to the channel. So that's the way it is. Subscribe so you can ask your questions and leave a comment. I'm going to be asking Amy some questions, but if you have any question at all, just leave it in the comments. We'll take your questions as we go. Okay? So the first question, Amy, is can you start by telling us a little bit about Requity Homes and your role as managing director, and what inspired you to start it or become involved with Requity Homes?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. So I actually founded Requity Homes, the company myself. And the reason I did doing this is actually comes from my own personal story. So I'm also immigrant in Canada. I moved here in 2010. After graduation, I had an excellent job, no debt, 20% down payment. And that was back in 2013. I went to the bank, tried to get a mortgage. They declined my mortgage application because I was on a work permit. And they said I need to have 35% down. It was very, very stressful situation. And that's why it's like, later on, I made my career kind of, in the accounting, finance. And then I realized, what, I got to do something about it. This is something I'm personally passionate about. I had the same problem myself 10 years ago, and I really want to create a new solution for many newcomers. Study, work permit, temporary resident, permanent resident, citizens, doesn't matter your status here, as long as you're financially capable, we should be able to offer you a stepping stone to access homeownership without 35% down.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's great because lots of people are not sure if they can actually buy a home if they're a student, if they're on a work permit. They're actually not sure because it's a gray area. So it's great that you provide services that also cover this set of people. So I guess the second question, which is what a lot of people would like to know, is how does this rent to own program work? And what differentiates Equity Homes rent to own from others in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to give you a high level overview, and I'd love for you guys to actually, leave your question in the comment section.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So at a very high level, rent to own is a great stepping stone if you don't qualify for a mortgage today, but you are financially capable of affording a home. Essentially, my company will get you approved, give you a budget. You go out home shopping like a typical home buyer. And once you find a home you like, we will come and purchase a house for you upfront. So essentially, my company will become your landlord, except that you get to choose which home you want to start to buy for you. So any houses for sale, we can do it for you. And you can move in as a tenant. Every month you pay us a fixed monthly payment. Part of that is rent. Part of that goes towards the down payment. And once you do qualify for mortgage, we'll sell the home back to you at a guaranteed price that you and I would agree upon initially. And we also report your rent to the credit agency to help you improve your credit score and give you all the coaching required to help you get ready for a mortgage as soon as possible.
Wow. Okay. That sounds simple enough. So there are other companies probably also doing this. So if someone was shopping around, why would they choose your company rather than another one?
Yeah. So I would say if you're looking for rent, so I'm very careful who are you working with, partner with. Most of the companies out there, even if you talk to someone, that person, that company is not your landlord. What they do on the back end, they actually go find an individual investor. They match you, and you have no idea who that individual investor is, and you have no idea, is that a good person? Is it going to honor the terms in the contract? So in Equity Homes, my company has $26 million funding secured. So you're dealing with one entity. It's just Equity Homes. I'm your landlord. There's no other individuals, organizations involved. So you know exactly who are you dealing with. And on top of that, we report rent to credit agency to improve your credit score. And our track record is amazing. 80% of my clients have successfully bought back their homes in 18 months on average.
Wow, that's a great statistics. That's a great one. Yes, and I'm so glad you mentioned about the investors because when I was doing my research, I saw that there were some homes where you'll be matched to an investor, right? Just like you said, they'll have to shop around for an investor for you. So guys, I hope you're getting value. And like I said before, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. We want to take your questions as we go along. You have to be subscribed to the channel to drop a question. So if you have any questions, some of you have been sending me loads of questions. This is the time where you can ask your questions. So eligibility requirements, which is one of the questions people have been asking. Do I qualify? How do I know if I qualify? And are there any specific financial criteria, credit score requirements that potential clients should have?
Yeah, great question. So right now, our rent zone program is live in 4 provinces in Canada: Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. So it depends on the city you are. The criteria for the income might be different. For example, for Calgary, the home price is much higher, the income required will be much higher. But generally speaking, I would say on average, we need anywhere from 60,000 to 70,000 household income per year. So if you have multiple family members, you all work, you add up all income together, it will need to be between 60 to 70,000 for most of the markets we operate. And then on top of that, we need a minimum credit score about 400. And we don't care too much about your credit score. We care more about what's in your credit report. So no unpaid collection, not in an active consumer proposal, bankruptcy. And we do need a minimum 2% down to start the rent zone program as well.
all. So the minimum income is about 60, 70,000 for a two person house. What if it was a household that had just one person? Would it be the same thing?
Yeah, exactly same. If you are a single person out there,
Yeah.
and or maybe you have partners but they're not working, you're the only one who works, then we just take into your income, right? It's just if you have multiple people working, then we take combined income together. As long as your income is over 60K, 70K, either separately or combined, you'll be able to meet the minimum requirements.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So, guys, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments. We're taking your questions as we go along. So my next question, you sort of touched on it when you were talking about how Equity Home and how the entire program works. But what are like the typical terms? Like you said, oh, the price of the house will be agreed at the initial stage, which means that even if there are changes in the market prices, that is what will be paid, right? So if you could talk more into that, and what is the typical process from what if someone pre-qualifies and they say, okay, I qualify, what do they have to do next?
Yeah, so I think I can answer the terms and what the process is like. So the rent-to-own term, how it works is we need a minimum 2% down, right? Every month you pay us a fixed monthly payment, part of the rent, part of goes towards down payment. For the exactly amount, if you go to our website, there's a calculator page, and generally the higher the home price, the higher your monthly rent-to-own payment will be, and the higher the down payment you provide upfront. Instead of 2%, let's say you put 5%, 10%, then your monthly payment will be lower. And then the last thing is the future buyback price. So we always fix that future buyback price based on a 5% annual price increase. So if I buy a home for someone today for 200,000, you will be buying back at 210 in the first year, just over 220 second year, and just over 230 in the third year. So that's kind of how we determine the future buyback price. But for clients, if the home price goes up significantly, and they will be able to benefit from that, because we had a client buying back home at a 40% discount to the current market value of the home, because the market went up like 20% per year for 2 years. Literally. So that's a great way. When the housing market keeps going up, you don't want to miss out in that kind of a cycle. This is a great way to get into the housing market as well. In terms of the process, it's very easy. I'm sure Say will share the link where you can go there and get pre-qualified. It will literally take you probably a minute. If you know your information, you just answer 9 questions, and it will tell you roughly whether you are pre-qualified or not. Again, none of these binding. If you like what you see, making sure you complete the form correctly, then you can move on to the next stage called full approval. At that stage, we do need to ask you to provide some supporting documents regarding your income, just so that we know we can verify the inputs, and then we can give you full approval. And once you're fully approved, here's the fun part. Now you can go out home shopping. Any house is available for sale. Just go work with our partner realtors, find a home you like, go see it in person. And once you find a home, let us know, and we'll make an offer for you.
Okay, 2 questions that came to my mind while you were speaking. The rent payment, does it go towards the payment for the home, the rent while they're living in the home? And then, what's the second question? I can't remember. The rent payment first. I think I remember the second one.
Yeah. Okay. So I always want to be very transparent. So you pay me a fixed monthly payment. Okay. And there's two components. One is a rent portion. Rent is rent. You do not get that money back, because if you rent a house, you had to pay rent no matter what. However, the savings portion that goes towards a down payment, and that will count as a down payment along with whatever deposit you provide upfront.
Okay. Really? All right. Okay, now you did mention 4 provinces in Canada, Ontario, which I'm so glad Ontario is part of it, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Is it every city in all of these provinces that you operate in?
Not all the cities, generally cities with 50,000 or more population. Okay, so we need to be a more populated area like Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Regina, Edmonton, Red Deer, Lethbridge, no issues whatsoever, or Northern Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, Sudbury, North Bay. In addition to the 50,000 or more population, we can only buy homes no more than 600,000. So freehold i.e. you own the land, it's not a condominium apartments, which means we don't operate in the greater Toronto area because you're not going to be able to find any properties for 600K or less. That's pretty much the requirement, 600K or less, freehold properties. Cities with 50,000 or more population in Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta.
Yeah. And I assume that they have to, it has to be primary residence, so someone can't buy it and then rent it out, right?
Great comment. Absolutely. I just got a phone call with someone. It's like, oh, I really like your program. I'm in Edmonton. I'm renting a room for $1,000. I want to rent someone a house. You know what? I want a 5-bedroom. I'm gonna subletting it each for $1,000. I'm getting $5,000 back a month. I'm like, great idea, but you have to live in the home. Like,
yeah,
as long as you live in one of the rooms, it's okay. But if you have no
you don't live at all,
that wouldn't work. We're really trying to help people become a homeowner and not investors. So if the contract is written in a way, if you don't live in the home as a principal residence, you will lose your rights to buy the home.
That's interesting. Okay, it all sounds well and good, but definitely there might be some challenges. So for those that you've taken through the program, what are some of the biggest challenges people face, and how do you help them navigate some of these challenges?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is like most people don't know how this works, right? It's a new concept. So there's a lot of education involved. And if you try to Google it, the Google may tell you things that, oh, this is really bad. Don't do it. Whatever. It's being done properly. So I think the biggest challenge for us, to be honest, is educate our clients, really explaining to them in the nitty-gritty details how the program works, making sure they understand this is the right program for them. And in terms of how we help them is our team's very transparent, and we offer free consultation, right? We can talk to you over the phone, and we can do Zoom meetings. I was talking to someone who is from Nigeria, who actually still lives in Nigeria, planning to move to Regina in October. So we offer Zoom virtual meetings if you're not in Canada yet. Whatever we can do, all the questions we can help you clarify, and we'll be more than happy to do those consultations. It's 100% free, and there's no fee to apply at all.
Yeah, and I think that you're right, because I think one of the things is people don't understand how it works. And if you actually go Google rent to own, of course, there are two schools of thought. There are people who are like, don't do it. There are others who encourage you to do it. So it's confusing. And a lot of people, when I sent out the flyer, were like, oh, is this something I can do? Is this something that will be good for me? And all of that, So I feel that educating people more and more about it would, make people to understand it and then see how they could benefit from it. Okay, so like, what are some of your plans for the future? I know you have the $26 million. I don't know how it's going. Are you getting a lot of people? Do you hope to expand to more cities, more provinces, and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, eventually we definitely want to offer our product coast to coast, Canada-wide. But for now, at least for the next, 6 months or so, we're still going to be strictly focused on the 4 provinces I mentioned to you. Again, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba. And our goal is to help 100 families get into homes. So we're on track. We're getting close. And in terms of the other features plans, we always say, hey, 100 people reach out to us. Not everyone gets fully approved for our rent-to-own program. So how can we add value to those people who are not eligible or not ready yet? So can we still give them coaching services, eventually maybe automated home ownership coaching, so they can be ready for our rent-to-own program in the next couple of months? Or even better, they can actually qualify for a mortgage and just get into the housing market through a traditional way. So those are the potential products we're thinking about as we grow, as we scale. How could we add more value to our target customers?
That's actually great. So, if someone was trying to pre-qualify and get themselves ready, that means they can get coached, in terms of how to improve their credit score, how to get the down payment, just down the line, and all of that. That's really great. So guys, if you want to find out if you qualify, I have left the link in the comments, so you can click on it to just answer a few questions, and then you would see if you qualify, and then you can take it from there. And guys, if you have any questions, I know you've been sending me questions. This is your opportunity to ask. all the questions you want to ask from Amy, she's the one that can actually answer. If you ask me, I have to go back and ask her. So please make sure that you're asking all your questions.
Yes.
Okay, I guess you've talked about this somewhat, but maybe you can speak to it again. A lot of people are wondering, is this a right choice for me? Like some people who are probably international students or here on a work permit and not sure of what their future in Canada would be.
Yeah.
And then some people who are probably scared that, oh, you know what, I might lose my job and all of that. So is there, if someone loses their job and they're not able to pay for maybe a couple of months, do they lose their right to like buy the home, or what happens?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of general advice is always do your homework research, understand what's the best case scenario, what is the worst case scenario, and being fully aware of the risks and comfortable at the same time, knowing what is the upside. So that's something you always do. And I would say, talk to us, book a consultation just to get you educated. That's the most important thing. And when the question you ask about the what happens if they lose their job, what happens if they, especially newcomers, you move here, you realize, you know what, I still want to move back, right? All my family's back home. And so those are all great questions. And those are the questions we would cover during the consultation, making sure you understand the risk. So there are different scenarios. If for any reason you decide, you know what, this is not the right home for me, I'm going to move back to another country, whatever, it's option to purchase, so not obligation. What that means, you can walk away. There's a penalty fee though, because nothing's free. I do want to be transparent. And the penalty fee is 5% of original home price. So whatever is left, we actually refund the money back to the client so they can move on with their life. However, even if you don't want a home, walking away is not necessarily the best or the only option. So I can tell you this. We have clients who bought a home, eventually they bought back the home pretty fast, and the house was too small for the family. So instead of walking away, they just bought a home because they know they're buying it at a discount because the market value of that home is much more, right? So they, you know what, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to use it as investment property. And then I'm just going to buy another I'm going to buy another bigger house, or, you know what, Amy, can I rent on another bigger house? Or sometimes, even if you don't want to use it as investment, you're buying back home at this price, right? Hypothetical. And home is worth this much. So you have a difference. So just buy it back and potentially sell it in the market for profit rather than completely walking away. The only times that makes sense for you to walk away if the home price has come down significantly, right? But in those cases, we're taking on much bigger losses because you just have whatever the penalty fee, and the house is worth 100K less, 200K less. It doesn't matter. We're going to take on those losses.
Wow. That's good to know. If someone has a question,
yes,
Abiola, what is the minimum duration to have full ownership of the house?
Yeah, so our standard rent on term is 3 years. However, you can buy back the home at any time throughout the 3-year term. So you don't have to wait until year 3, year 2, year 1. You can buy a month, 6 months, 8 months, 10, whenever you qualify for a mortgage. Okay, so that's the beauty of the rent home. It gives you the flexibility. And there's no penalty fee for buying back home earlier.
Is there any for after the 3 years? If they are still not ready after the 3 years, then what happens? There's a penalty?
Well, you know what? It's at the end of the day, we're trying to help people, right? If for some reason they say, I need a little bit more time, we're happy to extend it for another 6 months, 12 months. We're just not going to extend it for another 3 years because we do want our clients to work on whatever needs to be worked on, right? If it's PR, whatever status, that you keep applying. If it's credit score, I want you to be able to make certain changes so that your credit score is improved, right? We don't want to give you that sense you have all the time to work on whatever to be worked on. But yes, it is absolutely possible that we can extend the term for another 6 to 12 months if our clients needed more time. That being said, I do want to, I may be repeating myself. Right now, our clients buy back home in 18 months on average.
Yeah, that's good to know. 18 months on the average. So they don't even need the 3 years, right?
No.
Yeah, a lot of them don't need that 3 years, which is great. Yeah. Okay, so that's another question here. Are the houses all new homes?
No, you get to choose which home you want us to buy based on your budget. If the homes is a new build and it's complete already, I can buy it for you. If the house are the existing resale homes, I can buy it as well. It really comes down to you, what do you want, and what is your personal budget, and what is your budget.
Okay, which is really great, guys. So really, it's you are the one choosing the home. So that's the important part. You go out there, find a home you like, and then Equity Homes will buy it for you, and then you go into the rent to own program with them, and eventually the home is yours. So it's the same thing with going out to buy a home. It's just that you're going from renting to owning, especially if you know you meet all the requirements and all of that. Okay, we have another question here. What is the average rent for a 600,000 home in Calgary?
It's going to be really high because we also need to know how much down payment you put it up front. Like I don't have the numbers, but also
Yeah,
that's exactly why I said Calgary is going to be really challenging. It will
yeah.
likely be close to 5,000, if not more, but some of that money goes towards down payment. But yes, it's not going to be cheap for a $600,000 house. And just actually for a record, the average home price we buy right now is around 300,000. And so that's the average price, because the more expensive the homes get, the higher the income required, the higher the monthly rental payment. At some point, you just like there's very fewer people who can actually afford that. So right now, we actually focus more like Edmonton, Lethbridge, Red Deer, because those are the cities that are relatively more affordable than Calgary, but also have pretty promising potential in terms of the home price growth potential.
So I believe no matter the price of the home, whether it's 300, 400, it's the same requirement in terms of income, right? So
the lower the home price, the lower the income requirement will be. The 70 was the starter home. So if they're generally, I would say my rule of thumb, you can ask yourself, do you have a lot of debt? Like credit card debt, student loans, vehicle loans. If you don't have much debt, the budget you can be approved for is roughly 4.5 times your income, right? So if you make 100K for simplicity and you don't have a lot of debts, then you will be, 400, like 4.5 times 100K. So you might be approved for $450,000 price range. That's just an example. If you have debt, then your budget will be lower because it's based on the debt to income ratio.
Wow. Okay, guys, you can always find out if you pre-qualify. So we've talked a lot about how it all works. Now you have to go find out if you qualify and if this is something you want to do. Now, just filling out that form doesn't mean that you're obligated to do anything. So you're just filling out the form to find out if you qualify and where you stand if you really want to buy a home in Canada. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. You do have to subscribe to the channel. Just subscribe and then you'll be able to drop a comment or ask a question. Do you have anything happening in BC? No, I don't think.
Not yet. Stay tuned.
Nothing yet. BC, their house prices are high, right? Is it high in BC? Yeah.
Very high.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions? If you have any more questions, leave them. I wanted to ask, even though I think you touched on it, someone who is outside of Canada but still planning to come, because we have a lot of people who have probably gotten their PR and they're planning to come, they can still qualify for this, right? Even though they don't have income in Canada.
So yeah, that's a great question. So you can definitely try. Just keep in mind, we do need the income. So if you think you're going to have overseas income once you move here, because we had a few clients who were from Nigeria where they had a business back home, or we even had some other clients, they were able to work remotely. So they were able to get the income back home. As long as your income back home is going to be sustainable while you're in Canada and you can provide support, I can use your overseas income in the underwriting, but you had to have income. If for any reason you're a job where you had to physically go to the office, and obviously after you move to Canada, you wouldn't be able to do that job, then we'll have to wait until you have a job in Canada. So either you have a Canadian income or overseas income, one of the two or both, and that's kind of the main requirement.
Great. Thank you for clearing that up. So can your company do the house hunting or sourcing for the buyers with your experience in real estate?
So, I mean, we do help all our clients, connect them with the right real partner realtors on the ground to help them find homes. If any of you do qualify for a mortgage, you don't need a rent zone, but you want to just someone who you can trust, experience to help you with your home shopping journey, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to put you in touch with our partner realtor on the ground as well.
Great. So, and even if they had their own realtor, they can just go pick a house and then come and tell you, oh, this is the house that we like, and then you can take it from there. So this has been very helpful. Like, I've learned a whole lot, and I think that I'll be able to answer some of the questions that I do get. Yeah, and you do have a lot of success stories, because people keep asking, has this worked for anybody? Has this worked for anybody? You can hear Amy saying, averagely 18 months, right? A lot of your clients have been able to pay up in 18 months. And I think this is a great initiative for a lot of people who have been thinking, oh, I can't buy a house in Canada anymore. So this is your opportunity to buy a house. So if you have any more questions, I'm actually done with all the questions that I have to ask Amy. I think that with the questions that I've asked, we have like a very good understanding of how the rent to own work, right? And if you guys have more questions in future, we can still bring Amy on, okay? I can't see any more questions, so I believe we don't have any more questions. So, Amy, I want to really, really thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to come, talk to us about the rent to own. It's such a great initiative, and I think that as time goes on, as we continue to educate people, more people will try out and see if they qualify and take it on from there. Yeah, thank you so much for what you're doing to help us also own homes in Canada.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me here, and the pleasure is mine. And again, thank you for all the great questions from the audience. If you guys have any further questions, reach out to me anytime. And really hope to have a conversation later on. And hopefully, one of you guys will become our customers. We'll be able to help you buy a house.
Yeah, definitely. If you have any more questions, also you can also leave them in the comments. If I see them, I'll send them to Amy, and I'll get back to you with the answers. So guys, don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. Here on Don't Go Broke, we tell you strategies, personal finance strategies on how you can live in Canada or anywhere in the world without having to break the bank, right? How you can live your rich life now. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.